As Rick said, I am Dave Wilson, and this is Dr. Ann Pfister.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about Photovoice.
Yeah, Dave and I are really pleased to be able to present today on a project that we've been working together. So I think I mentioned before that I'm new faculty here at UNF in the Department of Sociology, Anthropology, and Social Work. And one of my goals early on in my career is to connect my research with my classroom teaching, right? So I talked about my research with deaf youth in Mexico City using this visual participatory method called Photovoice, and I wanted to also see how I could tweak that, how we could tweak that to also transfer to students in the classroom, because I thought it would also be a really good assessment tool potentially. So I teach in one of these big, not unlike some of you I'm sure, big Gen Ed classrooms. In this case it's Introduction to Anthropology, and it's replete with all of the issues that Dr. Brown mentioned this morning, right? So new faculty, lots of students, figuring out how to grade, juggling a lot of things. And so I reached out to CERT in the summer to try to, I had this idea of trying to connect these two kind of, more conceptual ideas, but I really needed help on the technological aspects of that. Would you come up here so you're not?
Sure, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
So as she said, what she needed to do is use technology to be able to collect photos from her students. And there's a lot of tools out there that can do that, but we chose Flickr because it was the best fit for the project. Flickr has a good combination of both private and public options, and we can get the links that we need to bring into Blackboard assessments to make grading easier. So we use that tool to collect the photos from the students, and it gives a good combination of the initial assignments can be private. So the student submits those assignments to Dr. Pfister, and she's able to grade them and provide feedback, and none of the classmates would be able to see that. But for the final project, we're able to create a Flickr group and make the photos available to the students in the class, so everybody would be able to see them. So using these tools, we're able to provide both public availability of photos when we need that, and also a private availability of photos between the student and Dr. Pfister.
Right, so the idea then in an Introduction to Anthropology class is that as we're learning about these sort of broad topics, students are able to kind of experiment with these new ideas to them, again, in their social world. So taking those ideas and putting them out into their own social worlds, and then bringing them back together to again, kind of contextualize and codify and analyze those using contemporary anthropological research methods. So these are some examples. At the beginning, I basically, this semester anyways, we set it up in 3 stages. And the first stage was just a very broad concept of enculturation or socialization. And students took all manner of photographs for that, as you can imagine. And then throughout the semester, as we were coming up to other themes like gender and sexuality, for example, students were taking photos associated with that. Right now they're working on race, ethnicity, and language, which we know is often conflated into these broader images in the world. So the idea at the end for this semester anyways, we're going to probably keep it kind of simple since it's still a pilot program, and keep the exhibition within the classroom. But moving forward, we also are kind of working together on ideas for how we could make this more accessible and interactive.
So there's a number of things that we can do. Flickr has the capability to tag photos, and using that, we didn't actually use that in this project, but students would be able to do that to, again, assign these different categories or different concepts to photos, as well as looking at different ways to exhibit the photos. So doing some actual exhibits in different places, but also some online exhibits using tools like the Flickr groups and also Google groups and things like that.
Right. And I also am pleased that a couple of my students from my Introduction to Anthropology class are here in the audience, and whose photographs were also featured in our presentation.